All right, let's get it.
We are back, segment 3. IDD, for those who know, I don't disagree. That is the redoubtable one himself, Tom Izzo. The Highly Question 1. RJ Miliaccio on a Slug 'em Down special edition. Saturday Final Four special. In the nightcap, the Uconn men rolled. They didn't roll. They pulled away. 86-72 over the high firepower Alabama Crimson Tide, making their first Final Four appearance and made a good showing of themselves, all things considered. The team that they were up against is a juggernaut, and everybody knew it. And they hung with them for as long as they could. But in the end, UConn's defense, versatility, and everything in between did what everybody thought it was going to do. They won convincingly, and now we've got the matchup of two very, very, very good big men Monday night.
That's going to be awesome.
So we're going to talk about that one second, because we're going to get to the women first, because they're tomorrow at 3 o'clock, a matinee, if you will.
Afternoonish.
This is the rematch that I think the college basketball world, the women's wanted, because it's the last team. If you think about it, South Carolina has lost once in the last 70 games they've played. Once in the last 70 games they've played.
To who, you might ask?
It would be Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, regardless of how they got here, they're here. And anytime you have a player of her caliber, you have a chance. They beat them last year. She went off. I don't think South Carolina forgot it. In fact, I'm pretty sure they were praying they were going to see this team, because they're looking to get their third national title in the last 5 years, which would make them a dynasty. And I believe they're going to do it. And the fact that UConn gave them a blueprint for how to do it, because they did, okay, and they're healthy, which UConn was not, I think that Carolina is going to exact revenge here and deny this girl her GOAT status. And she's going to leave college basketball with everything but the thing that matters, which is...
Well, she doesn't get GOAT status if she wins, does she?
A lot of the people that are all the women saying she needs the ring to have that
but, I mean, just one ring gets her GOAT?
I'll tell you why one works for her, because she was the only 5-star player on that roster, recruiting-wise. And that's true.
Yeah.
Because for everything you want to say about Brianna Stewart and Taurasi, they were surrounded by studs. Mm-hmm. Studs, okay?
They were on teams that, like,
dynasties. Multiple players from all those teams went pro.
Yeah.
Multiple. From all of those teams. So
what about, like, Candace Parker and people like that?
She's another one.
Yeah.
So the thing is, she's got to get one to get in the conversation. Problem is, the team that's waiting for her remembers her well, and like they're not going to let her do this again. And if you know anything about Dawn Staley, I guarantee you that tape of that game and what UConn was able to do to them they've been watching that thing over and over and over again, because they have a full arsenal to throw at her. Whereas UConn
did in the third quarter the other night. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh no, you were at the game.
Oh, no, but I saw the highlights of what they did when they.
It was a 1-point game
for a while.
At half, and then they outscored them by 24 in the third quarter.
They're a lot like
the went crazy.
They're a lot like the UConn men. They can suffocate you with defense. They're relentless.
Yeah.
And again, it's not so much that they pressure you full court, but they just pressure you everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. They're in your face everywhere you go. They can switch every screen. They can cover they can match. It's crazy.
And Camilla is always the biggest one on the court.
They've got a 6'7" center who can play.
She's always the biggest one on the court.
She can play. And so... And again, I don't know who you try to stop, because they're balanced. They're a lot like this men's UConn team. So, as much as I want to see Caitlin Clark do this, because I love her game and I love what she's done, and she's done more for the women's game, he's not lying about that. This is just they're not winning this game tomorrow. They're not winning. Okay, they can probably keep it close if she can, but honestly, they're going to take the ball out of her hands. They're gonna. And the fact that UConn was able to do it with a depleted roster, again, they had the Big East Defensive Player of the Year in their roster. I don't know, but I know this, that South Carolina's got a bunch of dogs.
Dude, Aaliyah Edwards is good, too, though.
Yes, she is. She was the other starter that didn't get hurt.
With the braids?
Yeah, she's legit. She's legit. And she was legit. So, that's
the only thing that makes me think Iowa can... I mean, it's different, because I think Aaliyah Edwards is 6'3".
Yeah, this girl's 6'7".
Camilla is 6'7", and she's bigger than Edwards. That's a tough guard inside.
She is a big woman who knows how to use every inch of it.
Yeah, and she moves.
And she's smart.
Yeah, she moves well. She's not like, she doesn't lumber.
And again, they're well coached. This girl's got rings on her finger already. Dawn's been there as a player and as a coach. So, by the way, she did not play for Pat Summit. Where
was she?
She played, actually, I think, in Virginia.
Oh, really? Dawn Staley?
Yeah. But in any event, the girl's got 3 gold medals on her resume, too, as a player. She's done it all. They love her. She's from Philadelphia originally. They love her in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
she's an icon. And she's a class act. And look, they know how good this girl is, and they know what they have to do, and they've got the horses to do it. So I see no reason. Caitlin Clark's going to have to put up 50 for them to win this game.
That'd be cool to see.
If it happened, yeah.
She puts up 50 in the championship game and they win?
I think she's going to have to for them to win.
That'd be
If she doesn't,
crazy.
I don't think they're going to win. So I've got in the Gigglesmoke guarantee special extra ed. That's going to be them. That South Carolina will cut down the nets for the 3rd time in the last 5-6 years, whatever it is, and be a dynasty. Now on the men's side, we got the matchup we won with the 2 best big men I think in America right now, and they're both very smart. They're very disciplined. I give Edie the edge in there, but that's the only place I give him Purdue the edge, because I don't think Klingen's as good as he is. He's good enough. And
to cancel him out somewhat.
Yeah, he's good enough to negate what he does. But the other thing is this. Uconn on the perimeter this is a bad matchup for Purdue. This is a bad matchup.
I like
for
to hear
Purdue.
you say that.
If you saw what NC State's guards were able to do to them earlier today,
They made them look bad.
they literally, and the reason they hung around is because they were, and I talked about this before, you get them to start their offense further and further away from the basket.
Yeah.
Edie, who had a good game, but he was setting these screens above the 3-point line. He had to come out that far. And that's why they were able to stay in the game for as long as they did. At the end of the day, they overpowered him because they couldn't stop him. Mm-hmm. But Uconn has a 7'2", 280-pound guy that knows how to play. And he's got a 6'10" back up to him. They can run ball. And he cannot run them down the floor. And Uconn can break on these guys. What I think Tom noticed in the second half of this Alabama game, Alabama was the number 1 offensive team in the nation. They missed their mark. They're averaged by 18 points. And at the half, they were on pace to get it. Because Uconn has the ability to lock you down 1 through 4.
It took a while for Uconn to settle in, really.
But they did.
I'm not sure that they ever actually settled in until like the last 2 minutes. Then it was just like...
It went from like 5 to 16 real fast.
Yeah. But it was at the very end of the game.
But that's the thing. It's not, they just wear you down, wear you down, and all of a sudden, boom, they hit you.
Yeah, because in that game, it was like Alabama would go on a 7-0 run. Mm-hmm. Uconn would go on an 8-0 run.
Yep.
Alabama would go on a 7-0 run.
Yep.
Uconn would go on a 7-0 run. Mm-hmm. It was just back and forth.
I mean, to his point,
UConn
there were 6 ties and 7 lead changes before the decisive run made by them with about 4 minutes to go is when they really did
and
this.
It was decisive.
And it was decisive, and it was so quick we didn't really know. Like, holy shit, look what just happened.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. And they've done it all damn year.
They did it last year.
And Purdue doesn't have I'll tell you right now, Alabama has a much better backcourt than Purdue has. They do.
Yeah, that kid Sears.
Sears is legit. And I tell you what, he kept them in as long as.
And the other guy, Estrada, was good too.
He was good too. But at the end of the day, Uconn can come at you in waves on the perimeter, and they don't have to double team. They don't have to double team you. They don't. And Edie could get 30 Monday night, and they can still lose. Because Uconn can shut down everyone else.
Zach Edie Falco.
He could get 30 and 15, and they could lose by 10. Easily. Because they can shut you down everywhere else. We looked at their roster the other day. 6'8", 6'7". They have a 6'6" guard. We was reading 6'8", and they had like 4, 5, or 6 of them. All on the wing. It was like, you got to be shitting me.
And then 7'2" in the paint.
Yeah, and 6'10" backing him up. I was just like, they come at you.
Oh, the other guy, the other center, 6'10"?
Yeah.
He's good.
He's athletic as hell. He runs. Yeah. And this is the thing. I think Uconn's going to turn this into a track meet. So let's see how in shape this Edie kid is. They're going to run. They're going to try and run them out of the gym. They're going to up tempo. They're going to pressure them. They're going to make them start their offense high. They're going to force them into long range shots, and they're going to run. They're going to run and see if they can stay with them. And I don't think Purdue can stay with them. They can't. If Purdue can turn this into a half-court game, they got a chance. If Uconn is able to get out and run on them, they're going to win by at least 10 points. No matter what Edie does. They're going to win by at least 10 points. Okay.
There's the giggle.
So there's the Gigglesmoke guarantee. If we get both, we'll be 22-14. That'll be solid. That'll be solid with the NBA playoffs looming.
So with the NBA playoffs, are you going to do the guarantees on the series victory?
We'll talk about that. That's a good question.
Because, to do it game to game, I don't know.
Well, if it's a game 7, and game 7s are fun to pick.
Yeah.
Those are fun. I don't know. We'll talk about it. He's got a point.
But, if it's a game 7, would you change your pick of the series?
Depending on how the series is going, I might.
Yeah.
I might. But lastly tonight, the New York Knicks, who have been dying for a break, finally got one. They got their defensive stalwart back last night. Now, it didn't pay dividends last night, probably because it was his first game back. And as I learned off air, Mr. Triple-Double there, Hart, got tossed in the first quarter for something that he didn't really even do. So, while they came back and made it a game, you can't swap one for the other. They got to keep everybody on the floor here. But that call sounds about as bad as the damn one yesterday in the damn Uconn-Iowa game. So, this is going to help them, though, because the reason I said before they could still make a run was they had the ability to win games in multiple ways because they now can play defense. This guy is the head of the snake on their defense. He is the catalyst for their defense.
Kling?
Not Kling, your boy, OG.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we transitioned.
We transitioned. OG is the key here. And the fact they got him back with 5 games, he can get his feet under him, play with some of these guys.
I hope so. Because sorry to cut you off, but they need to find out how to play together. Because it's not just getting. They had OG and they went on like a 10-0 run.
The best record in the league in January,
right?
Before all these injuries happened.
But they also didn't have Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is back too. So they have and they got the 2 guys in the trade.
Yep.
Bogey and Alec Burks. Alec Burks. I'm sorry, buddy, but he just hasn't been good. Mm-hmm. But I think Tibbs is still trying to figure out what lineups do I roll with?
Yeah.
And what's gonna be good defensively, and how are we gonna score when Brunson's not in the game? Because that's another issue they have. He's so ball dominant. I love him, but man, it's
not his fault.
I know he
doesn't have a choice.
He needs the ball, the entire possession.
Well,
and I guess that's his game.
We thought. What was the magic number here? He's close. He's not quite there, but we thought he should be averaging about between 8 and 10 assists a game. And if he was doing that, now again, he doesn't have Randall. That hurts. Okay,
yeah, that's true.
That
he doesn't have.
That's 24 points on the wing he just lost.
That's a good point.
So it's going to be harder for him to hit that number. But I think if he can get to 8, or if he's averaging 8 in the playoffs, for example, then they can go a long way.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have to, because the thing is, these teams are going to key on him. So he's got to have. He's got some good teammates. He's got some shooters around him. He's got OG back.
Yeah.
It's not like he's devoid of weapons here. He's just missing his biggest gun. But he has other guys that can do things. And what he's got to do as a point guard is what every great point guard does. He sets them up.
Mm-hmm. Draw the double.
He's got to set these guys up. He's got to use his one-on-one. And again, usually, and I played point guard, I can speak to this. Usually, the point guard is the best one-on-one player in the game. And if he's a good point guard, he uses that to create shots for his teammates.
Yeah.
My father taught me this a long time ago. He was like, look at it. If you're going to play this position, it's not about you dropping 30 every night. It's about you getting 20 and 10. Mm-hmm. You're getting 10 assists every game. We're not going to lose, because I know you'll get 20. Mm-hmm. But can you get 10 assists? Can you make your teammates better?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, if you're listening to this is what you need to do. You need to use those skills you have to create some easy opportunities for your teammates. Because number 1, it's going to take the pressure off you. Number 2 is going to give them confidence, and that's going to make you tougher to beat. If you have guys that aren't taking shots for 5-6 minutes at a time in stretches, that ain't good.
No.
Because I know you can go get 27, 30 a night. That's not the point. If you want to win, and you don't have Randall on the outside now. You've got to use your game to get these guys good looks.
Yeah.
And you're fully capable, because I know who your father is, and he used to do it. So I know you can do it. Okay?
He does it, but
he doesn't do it enough.
He did it well in the Sacramento game, because they were sending a double.
Yeah.
As soon as he got across half court,
they were making him give it up.
They were making him give it up. And what was happening was Josh Hart would run little above the free throw line, and Brunson would do a bounce pass between the double team. Mm-hmm. Hart would get it and just go right at the rack.
Yeah.
And they got so many points out of that set.
Yeah.
I don't know why Sacramento kept doing it, honestly.
Yeah.
I guess they felt like it was better than just allowing Brunson to go one-on-one. And it probably was.
Yeah. I mean, the reason the Celtics are so dangerous is they have two guards that can do this and do it willingly in Derek White and Jrue Holiday. They use their one-on-one skills, and they create wide-open looks for people.
Yeah, but you also have two bona fide scorers.
And they're doing it too.
And then you also have a bona fide scorer down low.
When you look, you want to know why Hauser has been so good this year? Because these guys are setting him up. This is what Jalen Brunson needs to do. What the Celtics do to a man, they all do this. They create easy looks for guys that do certain things very well. And that's what Brunson has to do.
But it's kind of apples and oranges.
No, it's not apples and oranges. You know why? Because there's 2 point guards, and they both do the same damn thing. And either one of them, if they would have 10 assists instead of 5 each. But there's saying, 2 of them.
Jalen Brunson isn't as good as Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Holiday and Derek White. That's what they do. They are very good one-on-one players who create shots for their teammates. He's as good as both of them.
I know. But you also have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
You're not hearing me.
And Porzingis.
You're not hearing me. You don't need that. You need guys that can make a shot when they're wide open, and you got guys like that. But they got to get wide open. They've done it. You've had a guy hit 8 threes. What was the guy who hit like 11 threes in the game? Don't tell me you have guys like that when you have a guy hitting 11. You do have guys like that. What Jalen Brunson has to do...
I'm saying it's a different type of team.
It's not... I didn't say they're not as good as the Celtics. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he has to get that mentality. It's a mentality. He has to realize, look, if I get in the paint, I'm going to draw 2 or 3 defenders. Okay? I got to know where they came from. I got to tell my teammates, look, I'm going to set you guys up, get to your spots, and knock them down, and the ball's coming. And if he does that, they're going to have, I'm telling you right now, they're going to make a run. If he's trying to score 30, 40 a night, he may get it, they'll go home.
Yeah.
They'll go home. Because he alone is not going to beat the teams we're talking about. He needs help. He's got guys that can do certain things. We've got some role players around him now. They did a good job of filling out this roster. He's got to use them. That's all I'm saying. And he has the ability to do it. And he did it, you're right, he did it in the Sacramento game, so I know he can do it.
But that was after they got down 20, which was like... Look, come on. I'm tired of this
they've got OG back now.
Down 21 before the second quarter.
They've got OG back now. If he's healthy come playoff time and they're not going to fall behind by 20.
They did it last night with OG.
That was his first game back. You can't expect him to just flip us. How long has he been out?
I don't know. He
a month at least?
More than that.
Okay then.
Because he came back for 3 games. They played well when he came back, and then he went back out again for another 8 or 9.
Yeah, so he isn't. Yeah, he's not in rhythm. He's not in rhythm yet.
Yeah, and he didn't look like it.
No, he didn't, and he wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's good they got him back with 5 games to go to get his win back, to get it to your point, playing with these guys he hasn't played with. This is the whole point of doing this. Okay, and it's smart. So this is the thing. He's got to get comfortable again, get in game shape, get used to playing with these new toys he's got. Brunson's got to start realizing and he knows. He already knows what these guys can do well. Smart. He's smart. So he's got to realize, look, if we're going to win, I've got to be more of a facilitator, a point guard. Because I can get 30 a night, but are we going to win if I get 30 a night and they're not even getting enough time? No, you're not going to win. You know what they'll say? Like, all right, go ahead, you beat us by yourself. He scored 61 in a game and they lost. I rest my fucking case.
Yeah.
Okay?
I can't stand when a guy scores 60.
If you score 60, you better fucking win.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you scoring 60 for in a loss?
I don't know. But he's got to learn to use what he has, what he does well, and create.
I think he took 40 shots.
He probably did.
Maybe more.
But here's the thing. Here's the key. Get him involved early. Because you said it yourself. Shooting is a rhythm thing. You don't get into a rhythm if you take a shot 8 minutes into the game. No, you got to start taking them in the first. You said shooting is a rhythm. Caitlin Clark saying she's always in rhythm. Yeah, because shooting is a rhythm thing. Jalen Brunson has to get his guys in rhythm. Get them shooting early and often, get them in their spots, get them stepping into it. And a point guard, that's what a point guard's job is to do, a true pure point guard. That's what they do. And he's capable of doing this. And he's got enough good shooters around him now to do it. They didn't have as many shooters last year as they have this year. They got better shooters this year than they had last year. I think you'd agree with me on that. So they have better shooters this year. And unlike last year where they couldn't stop anybody, they can stop people now.
Yeah.
So
especially with OG.
Yeah. That kid is one of the best defensive players in the game when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So use these 5 games to do this. And for Jalen Brunson to get in the habit of doing this, and you'll know, because if he starts getting 9, 10, 11 assists a night, you'll know he's trying to do it. If he's still sitting between 4 and 6, and he's getting 30, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. Tell you right, he's not doing it. So,
dude, one thing that was kind of bugging me. Okay, Mitchell Robinson. Let me look at his free throw percentage.
Is he Jaylen Brown?
He's way worse.
That's bad. That's bad.
Okay, Mitchell Robinson. Okay.
He's way worse than him.
36%.
What position does he play?
He's a center. Okay, but like
even Shaq was 50.
This is your 6th year in the league, and you're shooting 36% from
Chris
the
Dudley,
line.
Anyone?
I mean, come on.
Chris Dudley is the one.
Dude.
He was that bad. Chris Dudley was that bad.
But Chris Dudley was trash. If you want to be trash and you want to be Chris
How
Dudley,
many points a game does Mitchell average?
No, God, it's not a lot.
So how do we know if he's any good? He might be trash too. It's one thing if he's averaging 12 a game and they're off the bench, and then
he's one of the better defensive players in the league too.
Okay, so he's a good defensive player.
Yes. Okay. So Mitchell Robinson is one of those guys who good in the off. He's probably like the best offensive rebounder in the league. Maybe you could argue top 3.
He probably has numbers there. Offensive rebound is probably in there as a stat.
Well, he's been hurt all year.
No, but they still have his year for the year. It should have his average for the year, though, right?
Well, I mean, he's barely played this year.
Oh.
He's got 5 offensive rebounds a game.
So he averages 5 offensive rebounds a game when he does play. That's
what he shows. 5.
That's pretty impressive.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 7-footer who's mobile, but offensively, he's like. So they always show these highlights of him working out in the summer, and he's shooting threes, he's dribbling full court, dunking on people.
You've mentioned this guy before.
When he plays in the game, if you can't. I've never seen them throw the ball into him in the post. They'll throw oops to him.
Yeah.
A wide open oop he can do.
He'll do a screen and roll. And
right. A tip dunk he can do. Yeah. But, like, you can't set the guy up. And if he could do that, I mean, that would change their team.
Of course it would.
You know?
Of course it would. If you got a 7-footer, especially in today's game, that can play with his back to the basket.
Can do anything.
You have an advantage over most of the teams in this league right now. You really, a big one. A big advantage. So, you're right. It would totally change their game if they were like that, if he was like that. He's in his 6th year? Mm-hmm. How old is he? Did he come out early?
I'm not sure. He's not very old, though.
Well, he may have been the one and done. He may have gone 1 year and come out. He may have done that. I don't know. But in which case, he'd be probably 24, 25.
That sounds right.
If that's what happened.
Yeah, he's 26.
Okay, well, still, that could be right. Could have been one and done.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, and again, this is where, and you hear real coaches talk about this all the time, the teaching of the game is gone. And this kid's a prime example of it. How can you have that kind of physical talent? The kid can't make a drop step or shoot a left-handed jump hook.
Oh, no way.
I mean, I'll tell you what Zach Edey did tonight? 3 times. He showed that this is from about 10, 12 feet out, by the way, on Big South. Mm-hmm. He drop stepped to the left and shot a lefty jump hook from about 12 feet out and made them.
12 feet?
12 feet. I was like, holy shit. I haven't seen that in a long time. A long time seen a big man do that.
You might need Victor Wembanyama to guard that.
Well, he's 7'4". The thing is, he'd probably break Wembanyama like a stick.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's 300 pounds. Wembanyama's like 185, whatever he fucking is. He's tiny.
He's got to be 220 or something.
I don't know if he's 220.
Oh my
I don't know if he's 220.
That's scary.
It's a stretch.
Let's see.
I don't know that he's 220. He might be 205. I don't think he's 220.
209.
209.
God. 7'4".
Edey would break him like a stick. Drop step, boom.
Dude, I have confidence I could box him out.
You probably could.
And just get low as fuck.
Well, that's not going to be your problem. Your problem in life. But no, the thing is,
I could box him out once.
Is that, and by the way, with this kid in the league now, you need a big man that can get him in foul trouble. Because he's still a stick. He's not going to put on 50 pounds ever, probably.
I'll say this. I could box out Victor Wembanyama once and then have a heart attack and die.
I agree with that.
Right? Give me that?
Yeah. Or he could just step over you. He might step over you.
He would fucking leap.
He might miss and go down.
He would literally leap.
He might miss and go down.
Swim move
I'm going for the leg.
He would swim move me and just fucking toss me out of the way. He'd be like, get your 300-pound ass out of here.
I'm just saying that if the best way to combat him is to get a guy like Edey or a guy like Klingon. A 7'2", 7'3", with 283 with
more weight.
Post moves who can back him down and hurt him.
And keep him out.
Yeah.
Now, he's tough on offense because he really can face up
No, the thing is, this is where these big men have been, at least Klingon's case, he can play on the perimeter. He was switching screens tonight and playing.
Yeah,
he's agile. He's agile.
Yeah.
Edie is not as agile. He's
no.
But
he's more of a classic.
But I'm
center.
saying Edie could do to him on offense what he could do to Edie on offense. He literally could, because Edie will break him like a stick.
Have we seen Embiid play Wembanyama yet? I don't think we have.
No, because he's been hurt. They only faced him twice. I don't think he saw him.
All right, so let me run this by you. So Joel's been talking shit.
When is Joel not talking shit? This is not news.
So he's been saying that Philly's going to be the toughest out in the East. What do you think?
Depends on the matchup. They're not.
Because I'm like, Philly could easily lose in the first round.
They could. It said it depends on who they draw.
But honestly, 2 through 8 in the East is like.
I would say
bounced.
If he's got 6 games to get healthy. He looked pretty good first couple. They beat Miami. This is why Joel started blowing his low, because they beat Miami that night. But Miami's not what they were last year. Miami's not. I can tell you this: Miami ain't making a miracle run this year. It ain't happening.
I hope they play y'all first.
It ain't happening this year.
I hope y'all squash.
It ain't happening. I mean, because even Milwaukee, who has no pride whatsoever, they lost to them last year, and Giannis alone will them past Miami.
I'd be nervous if the Mets, if the Knicks had to play them. I'd be a little nervous.
Well, because you don't have Randall.
Yeah.
And Spoelstra's a hell of a coach. But you got a hell of a coach. I think the difference is, though, you have OG now. You didn't have OG last year. OG can D up Butler. Butler's the key.
But is he healthy?
Well, we'll find. He's got 6 games. We'll see what he is. But that's all right. If he is healthy, you got the guy to shut down Butler. And if you can shut down Butler, you can beat Miami.
Yeah.
You can. That's the key. He's the key. Playoff Jimmy, you got to stop that in the bud. Mm-hmm. And the Knicks last year didn't have a guy to stop him. They do have a guy now. So to me, that's why I think the Knicks are more vulnerable now, because they can beat you on defense. They couldn't do that before. So, but back to your point about Philadelphia and Joel. Look, if they get the right matchup, yeah, they could easily win a round. And if they get Milwaukee in the second round, who can't get out of their own way, sure. But are they beating a healthy Boston team?
No way.
No way. No. And Embiid will tell you that. Embiid said it's not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. And they do. They always kick their ass. And I got news for you. When Philly took him to 7 games last year, Jason Tatum personally took a dump on a healthy Embiid's head. Because he did, Joel. And you know he did. Okay? This is a different Celtics team.
That was Game 7 we watched at my house.
Yeah,
right?
He dropped 51 on his head. He shit all over him. He took a shit on Embiid's head. He literally said, go home. Take your MVP trophy and go home. My house. Okay? And that was with no Porzingis and no Jrue Holiday. And the bench wasn't as good. This Celtic team is way better than the one that beat Philly last year. Philly is not better than that team. They are not. And if they were into Boston in the first round, no. 1 game max. They might win one.
Beat the Grizzlies tonight.
Well, they should. The Grizzlies suck.
Shit, let's look at the standings right now.
But again, now
beat the Cavs.
If Philly ends up getting Milwaukee and they're Milwaukee, yeah, I could see that. I could. If they get, say they get Cleveland, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I think Joel's got a point there. But if they were into Boston,
well, because 2 through 7 in the East is kind of like everybody's kind of even. Everybody's got holes.
Everybody except for Orlando again has been, and the Celtics have been injured.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't getting Randall back at all. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going on with Damian Lillard. He's been in and out. I don't know what's going on with him.
He hasn't been playing?
No, and when he does play, he still doesn't guard anybody.
Right now, Philly's the 8th seed. Uh-huh. They're a half game behind Miami.
Who's the 7th seed?
Yep.
So they would play. Who's 9 right now in the East? Atlanta?
Chicago.
Okay, so Philly would play Chicago. Right, if it stayed like this, they play
Miami
Chicago.
would play Atlanta. Philly would play Chicago. Okay. I mean, Philly's beating Chicago, right?
They should. If Embiid is healthy, they should beat Chicago.
No. Philly's only a game behind Indy.
Philly has
the 6th seed.
Philly has to get the 7th seed. If they get the 8th seed, Boston's going to bounce them in the first round. I don't care what Joel says. If Boston's healthy, they're going to bounce them in the first round. And Boston's going to be healthy because they're going to not play anybody.
So how do you get the 7?
You got to win. You got to win that whole thing. Get the 7th seed, and you draw Milwaukee or Cleveland.
So how do you get the 8th?
You win 1 and lose 1.
Okay.
Is what probably happens. Yeah. Because if you lose,
and I still don't understand the play-in.
What they do is 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. Then the loser. How does that work? The loser plays.
They play 3 games, right?
Yeah, they have to play 3 if they lose the first one. Whoever loses the first one, the lowest seed is going to play 3.
Okay, so
there's going to be 2 teams.
So whoever wins 2 in a row is the 7
is
seed.
the 7 seed,
and then the winner of that final game
is the 8.
Is the 8?
Yeah, the other 2 go home.
The other 2 are gone.
Which will start on April 16th. I found out today is when the play-ins will start. April 16th.
Damn, that's close.
It's close.
Jeez.
It's like 9 days.
Wow.
So can Embiid
Exciting.
get to that point in 9 days where he's ready to give you 30, 35 a night? Maybe. I don't know. He had surgery on this knee, right? They did have a procedure done, correct? They didn't just.
I don't know. Maybe he got it scoped.
I will say this in Joel's defense: if they get the 7th spot, they got a chance of getting to the conference finals.
Because they're probably.
They have a chance. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but they have a chance. If they get the 8th seed, Boston's bouncing them in the first round. I'll say that right now, Joe. They're not beating Boston in the first round.
Well, I'd rather Miami get bounced in the first round.
They're not beating Boston in the first round.
But also, will Embiid's knee hold up for a series? That's the other thing that you really.
This is what I don't. Well, again, defensively, how mobile is he?
Yeah, I know.
You got to. I mean, the problem with Boston now is this isn't last year with a Time Lord. He didn't have to guard him. He's going to have to go out and guard Porzingis 26 feet from the basket. He's not doing that. And if he does, it's going to be a dunk fest between Tatum and Brown at the rim. Because he's their only. They're not. I'll tell you right now, this is not. It's a bad matchup. Boston's a bad matchup for Philly on so many levels. And as good as Maxey is, Boston can run him into the ground with all their guards. They can just run guys at him and wear Maxey down. And yeah, he could have a great game here or there, but it's not going to be enough. They don't have enough forces. If you're pinning your hat to Tobias Harris, when is that ever?
Well, he's pinning his hat to Kelly Oubre.
Good luck with that, Joe.
That was like. Really?
I'll say this, and I like. Good luck with that, Joe. If that's who you're pinning your hopes to, salute, Joe.
Salute.
But no, if they get in the 7th seed, they could have a chance of getting out to the Celtics. If they get Boston in the first round, they're done. They're done. So I think Boston is not fucking around this year. The fact that they beat Sacramento the other night when they benched everybody in the 4th quarter and they weren't playing for anything, and Sacramento was, and Boston still beat them. Boston's taking this very seriously, and they're taking it seriously. The entire bench. That was the bench that did that. The bench beat Sacramento last night.
Yeah,
Pritchard, Tillman, the guy Tillman had the game-winning shot. Hauser, Cornette. Boston's bench. Al Horford, whoever keeps forgetting, is still alive and still plays very well. Boston's bench is a lot better than people think it is, and it's going to play dividends for them in the playoffs because they're playing them more and more and more, and they're getting very comfortable in pressure situations, which is bad for the rest of the league. So I would say to you that to me the Knicks, we were focusing on them. They got the guy back that I thought they had to get back to do this. So Get him healthy, get Brunson in line with his supporting cast, setting them up, and then let's see where you finish. Try and get in that 3 or 6. They only had 1 game out of the 3rd spot. That was after last night. They were 1 game back up the 3 spot. They can get the 3 spot still.
They play Milwaukee tomorrow.
Well, I don't trust Milwaukee any farther I can throw them. Milwaukee looks like they're totally tuned out on their coach. They do.
That's crazy.
And he keeps calling them out because he doesn't know what else to do.
He's been calling them out? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But then I love how people go, well, Doc, weren't you sent in to fix this? Let me tell you something.
That's a problem with firing a coach that was 20 games over.
Doc Rivers was not fixing this problem. I said it's a personnel problem. It's not a coaching problem. It's a personnel problem. I don't care what coach you put in there. It's the players that have to change. Mm-hmm. Okay? They may have had a better record with what's-his-nuts, but they weren't playing defense then either. So they were healthier. Lillard was healthy, and he was lighting people up, but they weren't stopping anyone.
They're missing Drew Holiday.
They don't have Drew Holiday. And they're old. In a lot of places, they're older. Mm-hmm. That's their problem. They cannot stop anyone on the
Lopez, Lillard, and Giannis.
Portis is over 30. Giannis is not older, but the other guys are. And I said when they got Lillard, he can drop 30 and he can give up 30. in the same game. Mm-hmm. So why? To me, that's not. That's not.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off. It's not like, what do you do? It's not like Holiday could stop a guy, could take a 20-point score and shut him down. Lillard can't do that. Lillard could never do that.
Yeah.
So you were pinning your hopes on, well, if we keep it close, he can win the game for us at the end. If you can keep it close. Which, look at these teams in the playoffs. I mean, you're lucky the Knicks lost Randall, because he would kill you. Mm-hmm. He would kill you if he was there. But the Celtics didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, and Orlando, everybody's sleeping on. They got wing players that can go to the basket. Some guy named Banchero. Yeah, who's guarding him? Okay, Giannis ain't guarding him. Listen, so I'm saying, look, they got the same problem now that they had when Adrian Griffin was the coach. It's the same problem. So. And now you got a coach that's just calling you out, going, where the fuck's your pride? Where's your professionalism? Where's your this? Where's your that? And then your response to that is you lose at home to fucking, what was it? Memphis? Was it Memphis they lost to at home after they lost to the Wizards on the road? The very next night? Is that what it was?
Memphis?
I think it was Memphis.
Oh, my God.
That's your response to your coach saying we're not professional? That doesn't bode well at all.
Or no, was it the Hornets?
That's just as bad. That may be worse.
Well, Orlando lost to the Hornets, actually. Let's see.
Orlando has no experience. They have a lot of young talent. They have no experience whatsoever. None of these guys have been in a playoff. None of them. So they're very young.
Is it April 5th?
It is April 7th.
No, but I'm trying to. When they lost.
I'm sorry. No, it's the 6th.
They lost to the Raptors.
That's bad.
At home.
That's really, really, really bad.
Yep.
That's beyond bad. But this is why I give the Knicks a good chance, because to me, the Knicks and the Heat have the coaches that can scheme things up, so they have, to me, as good a chance as anybody of getting out of the first or second round, depending on who they draw. So
you're right. They lost to the Wizards, the Grizzlies, and then the Raptors.
Are you scared of the
back-to-back Grizzlies and then Raptors at home?
Are you scared of the Milwaukee Bucks right now? They look like a team in turmoil. Mm. They don't know up from down. They don't know who to be mad at. But no one's taking accountability for this. No one's looking in the mirror and going, what do I got to do better? It's all about what other people aren't doing. Yeah. And when you have a locker room full of people doing that, you're in trouble.
All right, I'm getting fucking cold.
Well, we're going to close this segment off. And we said it before, if New York and what's her name, Cleveland, Milwaukee isn't the 2 seed right now anyway. This is by default.
Ooh, and guess what matchup we get to see tomorrow?
Who?
Embiid, Wemby.
Oh, there you go.
I'd like to see Wemby.
National championship tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Women.
That's right.
Tune in. I'm going to tune in because I'm rooting for South Carolina.
I'm rooting for Caitlin.
I want South Carolina to bitch slap them. And it's nothing against Caitlin Clark. But to me, that would be justice. So, anyway, you guys enjoy the national championship. We will return Monday night. We will be doing the men's game. Okay, and hopefully UConn does Purdue. So until then, for the Dad, the one himself, the Highly Question One, you guys enjoy the basketball tomorrow. Until Monday, 40-hour break. Peace. Love.
Happiness.
That too. Happiness.